Well, we're underneath the hood of our first generation Mustang convertible. Neat little car. It has a little bit of a history, which I'll fill you in at the very end here, but let's just go over the little things that we do have to go over here. I believe it's a 170 6-cylinder engine, which is the base motor that came in these vehicles. Fender wells are nice and solid on both sides. They're painted flat black, the way they would have been from the factory. They should have been satin black, but in this case, this owner's chosen to do them in flat black, which doesn't detract from the value of the vehicle at all, just personal preference. The original equipment style radiator that came with these guys, a little 4-blade fan, brand spanking new battery in it. There is no power steering, no power brakes, no air conditioning. You don't need any of them. First of all, the car is extremely light. It has the standard wheels that came on this vehicle, small wheel size, so power steering is really insignificant on these vehicles. They're light, they have a good braking system, and power brakes aren't really required. And air conditioning, you got a top that goes down. So it's just a great base first generation Mustang. You can see the underhood is just as sweet and nice as you'd ever want to have. There's no rust whatsoever on it. Usually these lips have some deterioration, or the inner fender panels, and this doesn't show any whatsoever. It's a nice looking engine compartment. The engine doesn't show any leaks at all. Absolutely none. None on the valve pan, none at the base of the motor, around the oil pan, around the intake manifold. Appears to have a newer set of plug wires on it. Oil and filter I know was just done. The hoses are fresh. It does have a loop on it. They've eliminated the heat to the passenger compartment. It's a Florida vehicle, and it's been a Florida vehicle its entire life. So it's not unusual to just be eliminated as heat going into the passenger compartment. Nice, clean engine compartment. A very well presented first generation Mustang. There's no dents or anything on the radiator core support. We did put a new rubber seal on it in front and back here by the cowl area. They were deteriorated. They were original, but really deteriorated. So at this point, it's got brand new resilient ones on it. Just a nice, solid first generation Mustang that everyone is looking for, especially in a convertible. So let's go around the rest of it and see what we can show you. Hi, you're at Hangsters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and today our guest is a nice first generation Mustang convertible. Great color combination, obviously. You can see white top, white in, yellow car, has a spinner hubcaps on it, has a lot of amenities to it, and a nice history to go along with it, which I'll tell you at the very end here after this presentation. But let's go over the aesthetics of the car. The gap around the hood is just really nice. About 1/8 of an inch the whole way around. You can see the paint on the hood is driver quality, about the same as it was when it was released new in 64, 5, 6. Paint's nice, but it's driver quality. It is not a foot deep. It is not a show quality paint job. This is a driver quality car, and it's priced accordingly too. So you'll be very surprised at what you're going to be able to buy this guy for. Obviously a yellow, and it's just a great combination. Trim around the headlights, everything fits just like it should. You see this side same way. The grille, someone's replaced the grille. It is absolutely brand new. The chrome around it and the Mustang in the center is just as nice and fresh as you'd ever want to find. The surround piece, anodized aluminum, and it's just nice as can be. There's no dents or anything on it. The filler panel, yellow, just the way it should be. Front bumper is, it's got to be a replacement because the chrome is just entirely too nice for an original 65 bumper. Chrome on it is absolutely a foot deep, and the fitment is really spot on. You cannot get that bumper to fit vertically or laterally any better than it does at this point. Bumperettes in the front go down to the front valance. Your turn signals, parking light bezels are nice and fresh and chrome. They appear to be You see? Yeah, they're new. There's no patina whatsoever on them. None, zero. The lenses are nice and clear. The whole front end of this car is just as nice as you'd ever want to find one for a car of this quality, a car of this age. Front end is just, there's nothing that I could say negative on it. There really isn't. I mean, the fitment, the paint is better than it was in '65 whenever these cars were built. There's no dents or deviations that I can really detect. Nice front end. Let's go down the side, see what we can show you there. Okay, driver's side of our little Mustang. All tin, no Bondo anywhere. Spinner hubcaps, 14-inch wheels and spinner hubcaps on it. Real great addition. An option back then. Okay, hood to the cowl area, to the front fender, to the door. You can see that's a very, very nice fitment. Very nice. Trim around the windshield just the way it was when it was new. Wiper arms and blades would be correct for this this model year. Dash, the padded dash is not distorted, not faded in any way. It seems as though it mates up to the base of the windshield, just as nice as can be. Rubber around the windshield is absolutely brand new. Tinted window in this car also. Does have tinted glass in the windshield, the side windows. I can't tell. They may or may not be tinted. It's difficult to tell. A little bit of weathering going on around the trim, the original rubber around the wing area, but it still seals, so we're not going to mess with it. A little bit of patina on the chrome around the base of the wing area. Driver's side mirror correct for the ear. Window fitment really, really nice. You can see that. And again, we're starting to do these with the windows up and the top up whenever we present them to you, so you can see the fitment. And it's helping us out too, because when we did it the other way and we put the windows up, if they didn't fit, we had to go ahead and address that prior to shipping the car to the customer. So this gives us a heads up on what we need to do to these vehicles. This one we don't have to touch. This side anyway. We'll find out about the other side. Brand new door handles. The chrome is just nice, as fresh as could be. The window wipe whiskers are really sweet. There's absolutely nothing that you could call them for. Fitment of the door to the quarter. Again, you can see that just as sweet as can be. Chrome is new on these scoop areas on the sides. The rocker panel molding. No dents or dingies. Really, really great condition with that. Convertible top, you can see it is absolutely new. And back window also. And we've got another one here. We just did that Camaro and the back window is nice and taut and knit, and this is the same way. Crystal clear plastic and absolutely no warpage or no sag, nothing at all to it. Brand new well in the back for the convertible top to go down into in black vinyl, just the way it should be. The chrome around the base of the convertible top where your boot snap's on. You'll not find it any nicer than that. That's just about as sweet as you will ever find it. No deviations, no patina, no marks, no dents. Spot on. Okay. Tin. No Bondo, tin. Quarter panel. Paint on it the same as the rest of the car. The fitment of the door, the fender, and the quarter panel in this car on this side is absolutely gorgeous. It could not be any better than it is. Nice straight car. A very nice car. 14-inch spinner hubcaps, 14-inch white wall tires on it. Would have been correct for that era of vehicle. Just a good looking, straight, nicely aligned car. Let's go out back, see if we can find something for you there. Okay, back end of our Mustang. You can see the rear deck fitment is the same as the hood, just as sweet as you'd ever want to align something. It could not fit any better than it does. New chrome around your tail light assemblies. New gas filler door. New chrome around the trunk lock. This side's the same way, absolutely no patina. It's absolutely brand new. New lenses, there's no marks or milkiness or anything to the plastic it's on. Rear bumper fitment. There's another one right on the money. It could not fit any better than it does. And that you can detect in the videos. You can see the alignment is just as sweet and nice as can be. Your gaps on both ends are exactly the same. It could not fit any better. Backup lights in the rear. Of course, that's the best place to put them. The bezels around them are absolutely pit-free. They're new. The lenses themselves are also new. The bumperettes to match the front ones in the front are just as sweet as you'd ever want to find. The rear valance, there's no pulls or marks or dents in it whatsoever. Again, the chrome on this back bumper just is the same as the one on the front. It's just as sweet as you'd ever want to find. Couldn't absolutely find a nicer set of bumpers on a vehicle. Single exhaust out the back, of course. It's just a 170 six-cylinder motor in it. These engines lasted forever. You know, it's a 170 six-cylinder. They had plenty of power, no weight, and they just ran and ran and ran. One more side to go. Okay, passenger side, our last side of our little Mustang. Again, the quarter panel tin. Nice sharp edges. Trim around the back window. Again, the same as the other side, just as absolutely new as you could possibly find. Paint on this car is very, very nice. It's a driver quality paint job. It is not a foot thick base coat, clear coat deal, but it's better than it was in the 60s when these cars were painted. So this one does fit and look, and the finish is just as nice as you would ever expect to find. Fitment of the quarter panel to the door is just spot on. You could not get any better. Again, another new door handle, another scoop area here. And again, check out the fitment of the windows. Your front window to the rear window where it seals up and seals up to the top. Can't find it any better than that. A little bit of a dinghy right here in this panel. Another one here. Certainly nothing that would designate that you would, replace that. But a couple little heel marks from somebody hitting it with their heels or something. Same thing on this side. The rubber still seals. It is the original. A little bit of patina around the wing area, but it's not something that would dictate that you would change it. I would leave it alone. Wipes, whiskers, the same as the other side. Door to the front fender fitment, the same as it was on the other side. Nice and sweet as can be. Again, you can see the fitment of all these panels the way they are. Your Mustang designation. Same as everything else, all tin. We're back where we started again. Correct style antenna for 65-6 Ford Mustang. Great looking car. It's a good color combination. It's a local car, and I told you I had a little bit of history with it. This car was bought new by a gentleman local here in Daytona Beach area, and he had this vehicle his entire life. And when he passed away, it was in the garage, and his daughter decided to go ahead and restore the car to what you see here today. And this was years ago. She's a little bit older now, and just decided that she really doesn't need the car any longer, and passed it on to us. So it technically is a one-owner car. It went from the father to the daughter, who basically had the car, and this is what she learned to drive on when she turned 16 years old. So, basically one family-owned car. It's never been any kind of trauma, no accidents, no negative history whatsoever. It's a driver quality car. It is not a show car. The interior is driver quality, as is the paint and the fit. The fit is better than most of the ones we get, but the finish is, again, driver quality, or a little better, which is nicer than it was in 1965 when the car was produced. We're going to do an undercarriage for you yet. We're going to do an interior and a drive, and then you can make a decision on what to do. But the car is a one family-owned car that was restored to what you see it here today. It is not a rot bucket. It's a nice solid car. It drives and handles well. It's a base car. It's a 6-cylinder 170 with a 3-speed manual transmission in it with no power options. But it's in great condition, and it has a top that goes down, and you can have a heck of a lot of fun with it. So you might want to take a look at this. It's very, very nominally priced too. Hangsters, Daytona Beach, Florida. Well, we're inside of our little yellow Mustang convertible. Really a great car. They really went back and refreshed pretty much everything that they really needed to on this car. Has a new liner with a new top. All your trim, your hardware for the convertible top itself has been freshened up and redusted. The pads are also new for the top. The bows are just as nice and fresh as you could possibly ask for. There are no seat belts in this vehicle. At that point in time, I believe they were an option. I don't think they were standard equipment, but there are none in the rear or in the front. I think we'll probably put a set in the front. We'll leave the rear alone, but I think we're going to put a set in the front. Original glove compartment. It's a 3-speed manual on the floor, of course. Original equipment style AM radio in it. Horn ring doesn't have any deterioration. It's a nice, fresh, chrome-looking new horn ring with the Mustang designation in the center. The steering wheel itself has no cracks in it, which is very unusual. Most of the time, these wheels are broken up in half a dozen different places, but this one is not. The padded dash is still resilient. It's very, very nice. It mates up to the windshield just as it should. Someone's replaced this gauge cluster because the chrome, after a period of time, usually deteriorates. This is absolutely as new. The faces are nice and clean and clear. The chrome is just absolutely perfect on the gauge surround. New, I don't know if they are new. These might be the original ones. Little tiny bit of patina on this one, but anyway, the chrome is really nice on the window cranks and the window or the door latches. The armrests on the doors are the original equipment type and still really good. They're a little stiff, but they're good. Door panels themselves have been re-dyed, it looks like, but they're in excellent condition. Front and back seats match. Your area in the back, your side pieces in the back that your armrests are all nice and clean and not deteriorated or faded whatsoever. Door handle or window cranks in the back are really nice condition. There's no patina whatsoever evident on them. Sun visors padded and the stitching is still nice and tight, still nice and taut on them. Rear view mirror, basic rear view mirror, no day-night, but there's no milkiness whatsoever to the mirror itself, the lens in the mirror. Kick panels are very nice condition. Carpeting is black, original loop carpeting that would have been original equipment in this vehicle. Just a great car inside. There's no wear, there's no deterioration whatsoever on the dash, on the steering wheel, the seats. Padding's nice and firm in them. The door panels, everything is nice as could possibly be. You got new pads, new liner, back windows tight as can be. Everything on this car is very, very nice fit and finish. It's not something that's a car that was just thrown together. Someone did this with a labor of love and took their time, which I can understand why she did. It was a year over project until she got this car to this degree and decided to pass it on. So it's available at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. Here we have fuel gauge is functioning. Temperature gauge that is functioning is just starting to come up. We just started it. An amp gauge that is working. Oil pressure gauge shows high oil pressure, which we know we have. See if this radio works. A 65 radio that doesn't work. How dare it? No horn. We have no horn working here for whatever reason. Turn signal left. It is working. Turn signal right is working. We'll check the speedometer here shortly. Wipers, where are the wipers? Wipers are working. Okay, so let's go for a ride. See how this guy runs. Seems like he's doing the job. Temperature's starting to come up. Transmission shifts just like it should. Running little car. A pull to the left. It pulls to the left. Could be tire pressure. I don't know. We'll have to check. We'll have to check that. brakes stop straight, even though it pulls to the left. Nice running car. Nice and tight, no wind noise from the convertible top. Speedometer functioning as it should. Temperature coming up, everything working just as it should. Nice running little car. Runs and drives just as it should. Can't really say anything bad about it. The only thing that I find is it pulls a little bit to the left. I don't know why it's doing that. It might be a low tire in the front. It still pulls to the left. Nice tight running car. Drives good, runs good. No rattle, shake, shimmies. It's a nice running little Mustang. Nice little convertible. Makes someone a nice toy. It's a great color combination. I like his yellow. It's like a medium yellow with white top and white interior in it, black carpeting, black dash. It's nice. Nice car. One family-owned car. Father and his daughter. That's it. Hi, we're underneath our first generation Mustang. A little yellow guy in a convertible. Really neat little car. Nice history with it too. But let's go underneath of this car and see what we can point out to you. Okay, drum brakes in the front is just a standard vehicle. Drum brakes in the front, new sway bar bushings, new oil and filter in the vehicle. We just had that done. You can see there's no leaks on the engine whatsoever. A little bit of a tiny, not even enough to cause a drip, but there's a little tiny bit of seepage on the bell housing area, the transmission area. Nothing just dumping any oil out or anything though, nothing to show any indication that there has to be any repair made. Original brake lines on the vehicle, original fuel line on the vehicle too. It is a 3-speed manual. The torque box is in the front, you know, where your fender wells come down and transition onto 2 torque boxes that weld to the subframes are really nice and solid, all nice and tin yet. Everything appears to be nice and solid on them. The cross member that goes across for the transmission mount is nice and solid as can be. The floor pans in the front, this side appears to be original. Driver's side had a little bit of work done. I don't know why, but there's a little bit over here by the where the floor pan transitions onto the torque box up on top. The other side of the pan appears to be just all nice and original as the passenger side. Both really, really nice. Looks like a little bit of something there, whether there was a dent there or something happened through the years that's been addressed, but it was touched up there. It is a convertible, so it does have the additional structural bracing underneath it, and they do tie the 2 sides in together since there is no roof on the car, hard roof on the car, to give it more structural rigidity. It doesn't have that without a hard top tying everything together, so there's a minimal flex to the chassis whenever you're going over like a curve or something, so it doesn't twist much. No leaks on the tail shaft. Standard exhaust, obviously. It's just a 170 6-cylinder. I'm going to call it an 1 3/4 primary pipe coming off the cast iron exhaust manifold, heading toward the rear. Parking brake hooked up and still functional. Can't tell. I'm going to call them that at some point they were replaced. The front shocks, I can't tell you they're brand new, but they're not, not originals either. They have been replaced through the years at some point. The car runs down the road nice as can be, so I'm sure that they've been replaced. Rear floor pans, have been replaced. They're replaced with the original equipment style tin that would have been released by Ford in '65 for this vehicle. Very professionally done, very nice mating to it, but you can see that they have been replaced. So there is no issue of rust or deterioration underneath this vehicle at this point. Everything appears to have been addressed. This one section of floor here on the driver's side I know has been worked. Those have been replaced. Other than that, everything else appears to be good, solid structurally. Your subframes, your tie-ins, everything is as nice as it could possibly be. Car's never been bumped in the front. The way your frame sections go up to the front, they're still nice and solid, and no bends or deviations or anything on them. Cross member in the front the same way. There's no distortion whatsoever. You can see it's never been bumped. Okay, we're about halfway through it. Let's see what else we can find for you. Okay, second half of our little Mustang, our little yellow guy. Again, you can see that the undercarriage of the car is real nice and solid and just pretty much leak-free. A little tiny bit of seepage on that bell housing transmission area, but not even enough to cause a drip, a puddle, or anything else. Everything's nice and solid. Certainly doesn't need addressed. Rocker panels are real nice and solid both sides of the car. They appear to be the original ones yet. Rear end has absolutely no leaks whatsoever. Again, the original brake lines going toward the rear, and the parking brake and the fuel lines still all original. Primary pipe goes back to a transverse muffler, and again we're going to call it 1 3/4" pipe that goes out in its entirety from beginning to end. Nice multi-leaf rear springs. They still have a nice arch to them. Drum brakes in the back just like there are in the front. These shocks in the back have definitely been replaced. They were yellow, so whoever makes yellow shocks, that's what they were at one point in their life. The muffler's good, the entire exhaust system's good on it, and again you can see no leaks in the differential, and everything pretty nice and solid underneath the car. It's a nice car. It's not a show quality car, it's a driver quality car, but a fantastic running car. New gas tank, absolutely brand new, and a new sending unit and pickup in the tank itself. The original wiring and the original fuel line still intact on it. Drop downs in the quarters are nice and solid, all original tin, or at least they look original. Whether they are or not, I can't really determine that. Floor pans themselves in the trunk area, they appear to be original and undistorted. They really look good. If they've been replaced, they've been done so professionally that I can't determine that they have been replaced from under here. The subframe, where it goes up over the rear differential and goes to the back of the vehicle and ties together with that frame connector in the back, all really, really nice. There's no deterioration whatsoever. It's a nice car. It's a really nice driver quality Mustang convertible. It presents itself very well. You saw on the outside the presentation that we did, the fit and finish of the car. Driver quality, or a little bit better, the fit is really, really good on this car. Underpinnings are really nice on the car. Certainly not a rotisserie restoration, but it really didn't need to be either. And it's a neat car. It has a neat family history. It's a local Daytona owned vehicle, bought new by the girl's father, and she learned to drive on the car, and so it was hers and her father's for a period of time. Then when he passed away, she had the car repainted, the new top, new interior, and everything put on it, and then gave the car to us. So now it's here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. Basically a one family owned car its entire life. Never been in any trouble, never wrecked or damaged in any way, and it just runs exemplary. It's a nice car. It's very nominally priced. It makes someone a really nice toy.